So it's also necessary for me to mention a couple of classic plot twists that come straight from Aristotle, and I have sort of my own popular way to explain them. But very briefly, peripeteia is a word that in ancient Greek means reversal. To me, technically, probably any kind of plot twist could be treated as a reversal, but what Aristotle usually shows as examples, and people who are use this term after him, probably better qualifies as something that I refer to as action plot twist. Action plot twist. Action plot twist is the plot twist that is delivered through action, pretty much. And the action could be as big as a murder, or it could be as tiny as lighting a match in the darkness, and then all of a sudden we see a monster face to face. So anything that comes as a result of an action could be an action plot twist. One of my favorite examples, which is very telling, very typical, is a moment in a movie called Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger as the lead, in which his daughter is suddenly kidnapped, which is action plot twist, and then he chases after the bad guys but fails to save his daughter. So all of a sudden he's given the ultimatum that he, a big military figure, is supposed to assassinate some kind of a leader of an unnamed South American country, and he is given a handler, a tough guy, who puts our protagonist onto an airplane and flies with him. They sit side by side on the airplane, and the airplane is taking off. It's already in the air, so the next time they are on the ground, it will be already in that country where he is supposed to commit political assassination. So all of a sudden our protagonist puts his arm around the handler's neck, and in one smooth movement breaks the neck and kills that guy. That happens right in the air, and then he jumps off the flying airliner and survives the jump. And somehow in that movie all of that is made super plausible. So obviously once we're already in the air, the last thing we would expect is for that guy to kill somebody right there on the airliner, and we would definitely not expect him to jump off the airliner without a parachute. But that's exactly what he does, and that's a very surprising thing that happens, and that is a plot twist. And it's a plot twist delivered entirely through the action. In this case, it's active plot twist. It's done by the protagonist. It's his intent. So it's a perfect example of the action plot twist. But it doesn't have to be that drastic. It could be something like, let's say it's a Russian story about Stalin's repressions, and NKVD agent is forcing a guy to reject his father, to sign the paper announcing that his father is a traitor of the motherland. And we already established earlier that the protagonist and his father have a very deep, very connected relationship. So if our protagonist is to sign that paper and denounce his father, he will commit a major betrayal, and he will become a traitor if he announces his father as a traitor of the motherland. So he takes this pen and he is ready to sign the paper. If he signs the paper, it will become a no surprise type of plot twist, because the likelihood of that happen after all the beating and the torture that our protagonist has experienced is very high. Likelihood of him not signing the paper is very low, but if he signs that paper, he will become this massive traitor to the father whom we know we love, and that's something we don't want to happen, so it will become a no surprise. But suppose we twist that scene into a different direction. He puts the pen onto paper, he's about to put the signature on it, and then all of a sudden he looks at the pen, and then he grabs the pen and sticks the pen under his ear over here in a very vulnerable spot that allows the pen go straight into his brain. And then we cut to black, and that's the end of the season of that TV show, and we don't know what happens to our protagonist. Is he dead? Is he alive but in a coma? Is he alive but insane and no longer normal person? Did he lose his memory? We have plenty of opportunities there, but we don't reveal what happened. We just revealed through the plot twist that he refused to betray his father and preferred to try to kill himself. So that would be a plot twist, action plot twist, and a good example of it that reveals something about the character through action. All right. So the opposite of that, and it also comes from Aristotle, is the information plot twist, where a certain information is revealed to our audience. That is known as anagnorisis. And in the classical drama, anagnorisis, that Greek word means recognition, and very often it is recognition, and somebody is recognized, revealed to be somebody. When Telemach recognizes his father Odysseus in Odyssey. But also it could be recognition of any kind of information in the story as false, and some new information is true. So in this case, anagnorisis can be simply interpreted as information plot twist. And there are plenty of pure information plot twists that are revealed through dialogue. For example, one of the most famous career-building information plot twists in recent history, recent 20 years of cinematic storytelling, would be this stacked anagnorisis, one reveal after the other, multiple anagnorisis type of plot twists, multiple reveals. In the end of Memento by Christopher Nolan, he just has a very long monologue by a secondary character who reveals all that information to the protagonist. And even though it's all purely monologue, it's just, exposition essentially, but because exposition is saved till the very last scene, and it reveals a lot of psychologically rich information about the protagonist, that totally works. So a lot of anagnorisis situations are revealed through dialogue, and it's absolutely legitimately good way to do that. In fact, I wanted to tell you that anagnorisis potentially is an amazing solution for the problem of unsolicited exposition. You sometimes can hear writers or even screenwriting teachers say that undramatic exposition, simply revealing information, is bad. It has to be presented in some kind of dramatic form. So, it is true, but there's a secret to it. Probably the best way to deliver exposition, expository, pure information material, is to create a situation, or organize a situation in such a way that there are certain clues that are intriguing, and they are followed by reveal of the information that comes as a surprise. So in that case, we deliver surprise after surprise after surprise, but what we do, we actually plant these bits and pieces of exposition and present them in the form of these big or small reveals, and through those reveals, the information that the audience needs to know in order to understand the story is presented in the most dramatic fashion. It's one of the most interesting ways, most natural, organic ways, most exciting ways to dramatize exposition, presenting it in the form of anagnorisis plot twist. And that, if it's highly necessary information that suddenly twists the perception of what was established earlier in the minds of the audience, it can be even done through dialogue, and it will still work perfectly well. But it doesn't have to be done through dialogue, it can also be shown visually instead of said. Because really in the movie there are only two ways to deliver information. We either show it or we tell it. Both of these things are legitimate, or we can show it through audio, not dialogue but the sound. And in that case it's also an anagnorisis, but it's shown through the sound. So let me give you a few examples. So let's say that a certain character is heard whistling a tune that only one other character could have known. If that character until now seemed unconnected from the character who could have known the song, and now that character is whistling it, it will become instantly a reveal that those two characters are somehow connected, that they have known each other. And this would become a recognition, anagnorisis moment, or in other words, information plot twist. I've seen that particular technique, recognizing through a familiar melody, used in several stories, but I remember right now off the top of my head only one, and that story is The Prisoners. It's a movie by Denis Villeneuve. It's about kidnapping. So in that movie, children of the protagonist and his friend are kidnapped, and it's very difficult to find them or trace the kidnapper. But there is one character who is maybe a suspect, and our protagonist is following that character in hiding, trying to see what he's doing. And he hears that character, that secondary character, the suspect, he hears him whistling a song or singing, humming a song that only his daughter knew, with these peculiar changed words. And he realizes that there's no way this suspect could not have been somehow connected to the disappearance of his daughter. So he grasps him and arrests him and starts torturing him. It's a very interesting story. It's not perfect screenplay, but it has some amazing plot twists. So I recommend it just as an example of how plot twists could be made. And this moment, recognition through the song, is done, it's like a textbook example, done in a classic fashion there. But it could be in a dialogue. So let's say I'm going to show you an example that has multiple things that I wanted to present here. One of these things is anagnosis. So let's say we have a martial arts story. It's a story about a family, American nuclear family, father, mother, and a couple of kids who are not particularly happy with the current situation. It seems like the family is lacking some kind of fun factor. Everything is a little boring. The children are bored at school. They're not interested in studying music, for example, whatever, drawing, little school, after school classes they're taking. Somehow it's all not resonating with them. The quality of that education is boring. And mother and father in their relationship, they're sort of lacking spark. And all of the changes when they decided to join a highly reputable local martial arts school, karate school, dojo. That dojo existed in their neighborhood for the last 50 years, but somehow it never crossed their mind before to sign up the kids for karate classes. But they decided to try it, and all of a sudden they're really impressed. The kids discovered their true calling. They discovered something they're truly passionate about. The parents decided to take private classes with the kids, and all of a sudden the family is united and brought together through this common experience of something really fun and exciting. And in addition to that, there are courses for women, self-defense and aerobics, and the mom starts taking those courses, and she's all of a sudden feeling more excited about life. And all of that is centered around the character of a young karate master who is like third or fourth generation of karate teachers in that family who own the dojo, and he is the current leader of the dojo. He's a very personable young guy. He is smart, he is talented, he's a master of martial arts of any kind, not only karate but jiu-jitsu and everything else really. So they love him. He loves the kids, he loves this family. They take private classes. Half of the private class they practice the art of self-defense. The other half he just plays with the kids and they admire him. And the father is even becoming a little bit jealous of how much the kids like that young karate master. But he understands because of course he's likable. And the father starts taking his own private classes. Father reveals this tremendous dark past that he has been, maybe as a kid, has been bullied, and he never overcame his fear of other human beings, bullying. So he discovers in karate this way to open up emotionally, to develop this missing self-respect, and he becomes a new person. He becomes younger. So all of that is amazing, and it continues, and the kids develop so fast that very soon they are ready to win the black belts. And they're participating in some kind of contest and win some awards in those competitions. And so the next year of subscription comes, and all the families in the neighborhood who all admire that karate master hang out together. Every birthday is celebrated in that dojo. Every Christmas is celebrated in the dojo. All the international holidays are celebrated there. There are barbecues, there are fun and game events, and so on. All of that is just exciting and keeps building up. And then the new year comes, and the teacher announces the next year's subscription. He offers big discounts. A lot of families sign up for several years ahead, and then the teacher takes the money and disappears, closes the dojo, leaves town. Nobody knows where he is. Turns out he's been planning it for quite some time, maybe, or maybe there was some kind of financial trouble that he was in, and he saw no other escape from his financial trouble than doing that, and he betrayed the trust of virtually every family in the entire neighborhood. They all extremely upset because he collected hundreds of thousands of dollars from all those families, and some of them paid him for several years in a row, and he's just gone. They're trying to find him and they cannot find him. They're trying to small claims court, real court, police. The police says we can't find him because there's a clearly in all of your papers that says that once you paid the money, you cannot get it back. There is no return policy, and when they try to explain that's they were cheated out of that money, the police says that there's nothing I can do because if the person disappeared, they're not going to chase him across the entire country. So if you find them, we can try to talk to him, but if you cannot find him, we're not going to look for him. He's not a missing person. He decided to go to another town. It's his problem. So our protagonist, the father of that family, is really upset because he thought of the karate master as his friend. The children are completely devastated. To them, it's a new experience. They had never been betrayed on that kind of major level. But the mother is heartbroken. All of a sudden, she, who blossomed in that martial arts story, she is depressed. She doesn't want to go to work. She is crying. She's clearly overreacting to that situation. To her, it was a major blow, and her husband is trying to track down the missing karate teacher simply because he wants to confront him and tell him just how much he damaged this family that believed in him. And he can't find him, and the mother says that there's no way to find him. And then our protagonist discovers hundreds of FaceTime calls and phone calls on his wife's phone. So he is curious who she's speaking with. She dials the number and he hears the karate master on the other end. So he confronts his wife, and the wife confesses that she was having an affair with that guy. And that becomes the anagnosis plot twist. So in this case, there are actually two kinds of anagnosis plot twist. One of them is delivered even though through dialogue, but dramatically, when he calls the number and when the other person picks up, it turns out to be the missing karate master. But then when he confronts his wife and she confesses that she has been having an affair with the young karate master, and one of the reasons why he disappeared was because he didn't want to continue that relationship, that becomes the anagnosis delivered through dialogue. And then because of that plot twist, we now have an entirely different situation. The story is stratified all of a sudden, and a moment later I'll explain what it means. And now the protagonist feels compelled to track down that master and confront him, and he's viscerally compelled because he feels betrayed on several levels. And it's quite likely that this whole story will end up in a major fist fight between the karate master and the father, the husband of that woman who was seduced by the karate master. So I wanted to give you this example because it shows a very interesting effect that plot twists have on a story. Plot twists allow the story to escape one predefined genre, and it allows the story layers sort of come apart, and each of the story layer to do its own work on the mind of the audience, and the story becomes multi-dimensional. So we started out a movie similar to I don't know, The Karate Kid, only Karate Kid about a family rather than Karate Kid about one teenager. We're showing positive effects of martial arts on one family, making martial arts as a way towards happiness, toward harmony, right? And then we deliver the plot twist that showcases the opposite side of it, that martial arts is the kind of thing that has a lot of dark sides to it as well, and that dark sides in martial arts movies sometimes is explored in a very primitive way. but the world deserves a story where the dark underbelly of martial arts world should be exposed. Martial arts world, to a large degree, it's about money. It's about cheating people out of their money by selling them one color belt after the other and not delivering really any kind of practical skills. The majority of martial arts schools in the world today are money-making machines, and the kind of self-defense things that these schools teach are highly questionable or non-existent. And every master claims to be the master and not necessarily is the true. There are not that many world champions as there are dojos, and yet every master claims to be a world champion in something. So exploring all of that makes it a highly realistic and unusual kind of martial arts story. And if we stratify the story layers further by adding this devastating betrayal kind of thing and cheating wife kind of subplot, that splits the story into multiple possible directions and potentially delivers a lot higher emotional impact, a lot more unpredictability, and a lot more thematic layers to the story. So one of the important things to know about plot twist is that you can use it to split the story fabric into multiple layers and then deal with each layer separately, creating subplot for each. Long monologue, sorry about that. Okay, and that covers, so by the way, that was my demonstration. The main demonstration that I was trying to do is delivering a highly dramatic reveal through dialogue. But the same thing didn't have to be through dialogue. I could deliver it simply by showing a recording of the video where they were, in some ways intimate. That would be through dialogue, but it would be dramatically revealed. The dialogue itself would not say the words "I cheated on you," but her dialogue with the karate master would be intimate enough to be the revelation. Or it could be that our protagonist discovers the sex tape that his wife and the karate master made. That would probably be potentially much more impactful to him, and that would not be revealed through dialogue, but it'd still be anagnorisis type of plot twist. So anagnorisis can be delivered through dialogue or not, doesn't matter.